straightforward and you rude? Or is it just the real and is it true?
Reality TV. I watch a lot of reality shows. I actually get a kick out of all of them. Do you think most of them, if not all, are dishonest?
Yeah, I definitely think they're all dishonest because it's made for TV.
Exactly. And I feel like it definitely distorts the truth. You know, they need ratings for the shows, so of course they're going to carefully cast like certain personalities that are inevitably going to cause some drama.
Mm-hmm. And create fake scenarios.
Yeah, like they just, for example, they'll place them in like unnatural situations. Like, I don't know if you've ever got the chance to watch like Love and Hip Hop, but that one is so infamous of placing some enemy and the other one walks up and somehow there's a bunch of glasses of water around.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, they place a bunch of water or drinks around because they know something's bound to pop off. I don't watch too much of that show anymore. I felt like it was just ridiculous. All the plots and stuff. I'm like, this doesn't entertain me anymore.
Yeah, it'd be kind of boring, to be honest. Like, when there's a fight every episode, it's not as climactic.
Exactly.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of shows that feel like they need the conflict and humiliation to create like the excitement, which I do agree a little bit.
Yeah, who wants to watch like someone just living their life? Like, it gets boring. There needs some type of drama.
That's true.
Like we could just watch ourselves.
Right. But I do believe that some shows do reflect society, though, because it's definitely an ugly fucking place. And it's only a reflection of everybody else, truly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think they all, like, appeal to a certain part of ourselves. Like, if we watch Beverly Hills Housewives or whatever. It's like, yeah, like, we react similarly in certain situations.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
I do think, for me, I like to watch some drama that I'm not personally attached to.
I like both.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I like both. I like ones like just seeing like obscure scenarios that I would never be in and just like seeing how they'd react. And then I also like ones where it's like, oh, that happened to me. Oh, yeah, like go get her or something like that. So I like both, you know? I definitely enjoy both. Like some of my favorite reality shows, like, because they're pretty similar now. Everyone has a reality show, but my favorites have always been What Not to Wear and Say Yes to the Dress. And then there was the other one with David Gutierrez, where he was like a wedding planner.
I actually loved that show, and I adored him so much. I loved that show.
Yeah, it was so fun. And it's like, for me, like, you know, I wouldn't be like, you know, you could walk around and not be dressed, but you know how to dress.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, that's different. But it's like on What Not to Wear, it's like ridiculous. It's like they're just wearing tube socks every day with Santa Claus, you know, sweaters and all types of things. And it's like, yeah, I'd never be in that situation. Right. But, you know, it was interesting TV. So you live like feeding over like terrible clothes and things. It was interesting.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of interesting shows. One, of course, I've talked about previously, 90 Day Fiance is the show that I love to watch the most right now because they put themselves in situations that I couldn't necessarily see myself being in. And so to watch that and be like, okay, what the hell is going on here? That is the most entertaining shit ever. And what I like about 90 Day Fiance is like, it has multiple people from all walks of life. You know, and you get to see like this person's culture and this person and what is like normal for other people. And that one is so entertaining to me. I
like the family's reactions.
Yes, the family's reactions too. But you watch it and you're like, you can't possibly be this ridiculous right now. Like, do you really believe this, you know?
Yeah, I can't say some do, but that one with the basically, I think she, I can't deny that she's a prostitute. That one
I
from
wouldn't.
Florida, like
I
it's
honestly
just
think
like,
so too. I
yeah, I'm
do.
like, the more I watched it, I'm like, yeah, that's what you do.
Well, and what's really baffling to me is there have been new episodes of that, and the guy is like saying to her, like, I do love you, I want to get married, but like I want you to convert to being a Muslim. And she's shocked by this. She's like, oh, how could you expect this? And it's like, what are you thinking? Though, of course that's what he wants in his wife. Like,
That's not America.
that's not even, but she's so set on like changing this culture that's so foreign to her, but yet she thinks like she's going to be the one to change it. And it's like, why did you even go out there if that
How old
wasn't
is she again? I don't remember.
she's
25,
probably
26?
yeah, she's younger than us,
That's too old for that shit.
too old for the bullshit and too old to be that like naive to your own stupidity though, because I just want to know. I would like to ask her, like, do you not have friends that ask you like important questions about the situation? Because it seems like she just had her dad, and her dad
Yeah.
seems kind of slow.
Her dad's supportive of it because I believe that her lifestyle, being married to that man, was paying the bills.
Possibly.
That's just what I gathered from everything that was said and stuff.
I agree.
That's just what I thought, because I think she said something about not growing up in the best situation. So how your situation all of a sudden change? How are you going to your dad's house? That was the biggest disclaimer.
Yeah.
Right there. I was like, oh, if people didn't catch that, it's like she said it all in that phrase.
Yeah, well, in the introduction of her, she's like, oh, I have my previous boyfriends. My oldest boyfriend was about 80 years old. Okay, well, we see where this is going.
Yup. Basically, she's
but
going to go there and be taken care of.
She's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, man. But 90 Day Fiancé aside, I actually love like the actual true crime shows.
Of course.
Like, not the sugar-coated shit, but like real morbid shit. I know you're like, of course you like that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is.
I can't watch that shit.
It just makes me like this. It's the emotion that I feel when watching that is so overwhelming that I'm like, oh my God, I've never felt this before. I have to keep watching.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think reality TV... I know I've actually told you something I was watching and you're like, no, I'm not watching that.
Nah, I can't.
You like scary movies?
Yeah, but I don't like gruesome movies. There's a difference.
No, there is.
I haven't watched Saw.
I don't like that kind of stuff, Michelle.
But I watched what's the one? Halloween.
Okay, so we both agreed on this. Halloween is really scary. I don't like all of like the bloody guts and shit in scary movies like Saw. I don't like that kind of stuff at all.
No, it's just like, ugh, like,
yeah, the suspense of Michael Myers taking his sweet time to kill me, that scares the shit out of me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's enough
for me. That's enough for me. I'm good.
But do you think reality TV takes a role in society? I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a role in society, especially today. Like, it's different. Like, before reality TV, I feel was just like, oh, this is interesting to watch, blah, blah, blah. And then when the writer's strike happened, way back, I don't remember what that was. I think we were in high school, something like that. And, or college, something. It's all a blur. But they had the writer's strike, and then all of a sudden, they couldn't have writers, so they had to make all these reality TV, and then reality TV became like 10,000 times more popular than it ever was. And so you have all these people who aren't like necessarily actors, having all this like access to roles and making money. So I feel like that definitely influenced reality TV more today.
Right.
Because people weren't applying to reality TV shows the way they were after the writer's strike. You know what I mean? And then they started getting writers for reality TV shows.
See, I didn't know all of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, it is interesting. So it's like now everyone's trying to get on a reality TV show to promote their brand. Like if you go to Million Dollar Listings.
Mm-hmm.
Like $1 million listings, or even the one on Netflix, Selling Sunset, and all that stuff like that. Like, you have people in there who are just definitely not buying houses, but because like they want to make a cameo and promote their brand, or people see their face, they just go on. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So now reality TV is more infamous than a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes them less entertaining for me, is like, oh my God, I've seen so many like this. Some personalities are really boring to watch. Which shows do you think negatively influences like younger people?
I don't know. Because, I mean, I don't know.
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Because, I mean, it's all out there. So I can't say something negatively influences younger people.
Yeah, because it could be anything. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, don't watch this. You're going to start, it's going to start making you think a certain way. I'm like, I don't think so.
I think children are impressionable.
Yeah.
So, because I know I was. So it's like, for instance, I always wanted to be like Miss Piggy and, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's cute.
So
that's like what you should want to be like as a kid, though,
Yeah, I always wanted to be like, oh, I have this, I have that. Oh, yeah. Like, like the boss pig. So I wanted to be like that. And then like, they're just like different aspects. So, I mean, if reality TV was bigger when I was a kid, like it is now, because we only had like we didn't have many TV shows. If you think about it, like we had Nickelodeon.
Well, do you remember Real World?
Yeah, but I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Okay.
So I
No,
wasn't.
you're right. It's obviously not as popular as it is today.
Yeah, I was too young for it. But Real World was pretty famous because I think the Basketball Wife was on it, and that tells you how old the Real World is.
Mm.
Oh,
Tammy. Yeah, Tammy.
Yeah. So
what was the whole premise for the Real World? Like, were they just living together? What was there like?
I watched Real World
I don't get it
when
now.
I was in college because they came out with a new one. It was in New Orleans. And the premise was that similar to Jersey Shore. So they brought these people together,
okay,
and then they lived together. And then so like Jersey Shore was based off the Real World, but Jersey Shore was just like Guido's. So it was based off the Real World, but people weren't really watching the Real World anymore because, they changed the characters, the people each season.
Yeah.
So it was just the same thing as that. And I only one I watched ever was this one in New Orleans, which was interesting. But I always watched Jersey Shore. I love Jersey Shore. I used to anyway.
Yeah, I watched that a lot too.
Yeah, it was just funny.
That was pretty entertaining. The situation and
their nails and all types of things.
Their hair and stuff like that. One thing I did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying one thing I did like when Love and Hip Hop, or no, was it Basketball Wives? Maybe it was Basketball Wives. When that first came out, I actually really loved to see the stuff they were wearing. Like as far as like their accessories. Now when I look back, I'm like, I can't believe I thought that was cute.
But that was the 90s, like, or whatever it was.
Was it?
Style.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know. It was old.
Michelle, we are not that old.
We're not that old, but when did Basketball Wives come out? Because I'm get confused because of how their age. So I don't know how
in their 40s going into their 50s.
Or 50s. 50s.
Yeah.
50s. So I don't know when it came out. Like I watched like Basketball Wives LA, and that came out later. You know what I mean? And they were already older by then. So that's why I'm saying, like, when did it come out? Like, it came out,
probably maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, it must have been around there.
Sure.
Because, like, I wasn't allowed to watch all that type of stuff. So I can't really say when things came out, if they're that old. If something came out in 2000s, I don't know about it. Point blank period. I don't. It wasn't until, like, when things start coming out, till 2010s, that's when I knew about it. Because I didn't have like my little siblings around, you know what I mean?
totally look into it. I just remember the characters more than actually when everything came out, like the vets, like Tammy and Evelyn and all of them. Like, that's all I remember.
I remember her little shoe store. Because I remember when they had Basketball Wives LA, they had a Basketball Wives Miami, and then they had a Basketball Wives another place, New York. They had somewhere else. Right. And so I remember Miami had Evelyn with her little shoe store and all this stuff, and no one knew how Evelyn had money, and it was always a thing. I was like, it's obvious. She's on Basketball Wives. And so then it was like, then you had Shawnee, and she was in LA, because I guess she moved from Miami to LA. Mm-hmm. And so that was the premise. That's all I remember is like Shawnee O'Neal like starting this franchise, and it was like, oh my goodness, like a black producer, doing this, and she's female, and doing all this stuff. So that's mainly what I remember about it, but I didn't really keep up with the show. But I used to watch Wags.
Wags. Oh, the wives and the girlfriends. See, I watched that for a little bit too. I remember the twins. Mm-hmm. Those girls, they were really pretty.
Yeah, and that was more interesting to me because I could like relate to where they were going to. Mm-hmm. It was mainly based in LA.
So I felt like in that particular show that they were currently with someone.
Some were and some weren't, or some had been in the past. Like the one makeup girl with her sister who lived in the valley. They had like that little makeup thing, and they started doing it on YouTube based on that show, The Wags. Mm-hmm. So like what did they do? They were basically jump offs, I think, because they had dated people in the past, and then you kept seeing them circulate with people. But I think the thicker one, I think she had a longer term boyfriend on and off.
So so what is a jump off exactly?
A jump off, you know what a jump off is.
Because I hear that a lot. And I think I have an idea.
Jump off.
Idea what it is, but
jump off. You jump on, you jump off. You jump off.
So homie hopping, basically.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to say it's the same thing. But, you jump on a dude, you jump off. You jump on another dude, you jump off. And you just keep circulating.
Guys, in the same circle. We need to call guys that too, because they stay jumping on and jumping off one too many times.
We do. We can. I'm just saying it's a jump off within the basketball circle.
Okay, because I've heard it so many times. I'm like, okay, I think I know what it is, but
yeah,
it's not that people are saying that to me. I'm just saying I've heard that. Like,
no, I get what you're saying.
In rap songs too, I've heard jump off.
Yeah, they call them more jump offs, not just because you go from dude to dude, but it's more so you go from dude to dude in the same circle.
Okay.
That's the thing. So it's like, for instance, we call guys jump offs if they're going from girl to girl in the same circle, like you're with everyone and their friends. Mm-hmm. So, coincidentally, you say that about men as well, but of course men started it. But yeah, it's just you keep going from friend to friend to friend. You're jumping off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, going forward with like reality TV shows, do you think you could ever be in one?
Yeah, I'd be in one.
What kind? Like, from all of the ones that we've talked about, which one could you see yourself in?
Of all of the ones? Mm-hmm. Beverly Hills Housewives.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Super catty.
I am too. So that's fine.
And you're like, I'd fit right in.
Yeah, that's basically the only one, because I couldn't see myself on Basketball Wives and shit. Like those people like to use their hands too much, and I would just pull out a knife.
Yeah,
it would be instinctual. I couldn't even. It would just be so fast.
That show is getting to the point where if someone's not fighting, I'm like, I'm changing the channel, and that's really sad. At the same point,
yeah,
it's like I do want to see women getting along and stuff. I don't always want to see women against each other, but at the same time, the way and how that show started, I feel like, how are they going to continue without some fights going on? To me, it's just boring at that point.
Yeah, it's like a boxing rink essentially.
Yeah,
I like the shows like Beverly Hills Housewives and stuff, because they'll fight, but they fight in a different way. It doesn't have to be with your fists.
Mm-hmm.
It fights like in a normal way. Like this is that's how I fight. Like, you know, it's like we do this, this and that. But if you get in my face, trust, I will cut you.
Well, this is the funny thing about it is the difference is, right? And I'm not saying every single one of these women are like a class act or anything, but what I've watched on The Housewives is they will literally all be at a dinner at the same table, and they'll just be talking shit to each other, just sitting there. I'm like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, so-and-so said this. Oh, so-and-so said that. Oh, well, you didn't. And then they just confront them. And then you see like people like, oh, well, I lied and said that didn't happen because you put me on the spot. How dare you put me on the spot in that situation? Blah, blah. I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like relatable things. Because that's like, oh, yes, go get her. Like, I would do that. I would say that. Oh, you should have said this. You should have said that. You know? And it's funny watching Giselle on there now. She does not like those women. Giselle's like the new black housewife on Beverly Hills Housewives.
I'm going to have to check it out. Like I said earlier, I'm like, I love to see what they're wearing. I'm like, oh, what purse does she have? Oh my God, I want that outfit. Like that stuff. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, that's fun. I like to see where they travel to. I like to see the hotels they stay in and where they travel to. That's why I don't really like the Atlanta one. Not to put them down. It's just like they don't take enough lavish vacations and they fight too much for me.
Nene is hilarious though.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Did you see like they had a COVID reunion and they did it on Zoom?
Was it when they were wearing all white?
I think so. And
they looked so good.
And then like they said something about that Tiara. What's that woman's name who used to be on America's Next Top Model? They said something about her boobs. Like, oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is her name? That's gonna drive me crazy. Ava Pigford or something? Something. I
don't know. Ava.
I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, and then Nene just closed her camera because she didn't want to talk anymore. She didn't come back. Remember that?
I love watching them. They're funny as hell.
Yeah,
Portia too.
Oh, Portia. But she actually got in a fist fight, and then they had to stop.
Oh boy!
Remember, like she couldn't come back, and then that's I think that's the time I started watching it. She actually got into a fist fight altercation and attacked someone at the reunion, and then she was kicked off the show. And then because of that, you know, and then they had a little lawsuit, and I think they settled it somehow. And she just came back to the show in recent years because of that that violent incident.
I'm gonna have to dust off the archives a little bit when it comes to those shows.
Yeah, it's just like when I see it, I remember it like vividly, but I don't watch it all the time. If that makes sense.
What we should do is I suggest a show for you to watch and you suggest a show for me to watch, and then we'll meet again and talk about it.
Okay. Shoot.
How about that?
All right.
Okay, so I think that wraps it up as far as our reality TV session.
A lot to think about, a lot to watch during COVID.
Oh, that's completely true. So much going on. We need all the entertainment we can possibly get. But thanks everyone for listening to Mixed Expressions.
Thanks.
See ya.